Welcome to Law Story. In today's video, we start part 5 of our Colonel Gaddafi series. After the US bombing of Tripoli and Benghazi, Muammar Gaddafi presented himself as a survivor. He declared, "We have struck a blow to the American invader. Libya is victorious." But behind the rhetoric, Libya was entering its darkest and most isolated period. The Libyan army had been involved in Chad's long-running civil war since the 1970s, backing factions loyal to Gukuni Uwadi and later trying to annex the Al-Zoo Strip, a mineral-rich region of northern Chad. But in March 1987, Gaddafi's forces suffered a devastating defeat in what became known as the Toyota Civil War. Chadian troops, many riding Toyota Hilux and Land Cruiser pickup trucks fitted with French-supplied Milan anti-tank missiles, outmaneuvered Libya's heavy armour. By the end of April 1987, Libyan losses were staggering: 7,500 soldiers killed or captured, 300 tanks gone, and dozens of lost aircrafts. In contrast, Chadian forces lost fewer than 1,000 men. This humiliating rout effectively ended Libya's ambitions in Chad. The war also marked a turning point. France and the US had covertly supported Chad, and Gaddafi realized that the West would not allow his expansionist projects to succeed. On December 21, 1988, Pan Am Flight 103, a Boeing 747, travelling from London Heathrow to New York, exploded at 31,000 feet above the Scottish town of Lockerbie. 259 passengers and crew died instantly. 11 residents of Lockerbie were killed on the ground. Victims came from 21 countries, the majority being American citizens, including 35 students from Syracuse University.
Didn't know what it was, and then we rushed outside and just all this debris coming down.
It came straight down, and then this great mass of flames, and I turned to run, but there's nowhere to run to.
It looked like a scene out of hell. This whole road was ablaze.
The day had begun with the search teams concentrating on 6 separate locations in and near Lockerbie, where most of the wreckage and bodies have been discovered. American officials and FBI agents assisting British accident investigators from the Department of Transport. On the hillsides outside the town, the wreckage was spread across fields, though the battered Pan Am cockpit remained recognizable.
Investigations led by the Scottish police, the FBI, and forensic experts identified a Semtex bomb hidden in a Toshiba radio cassette player, smuggled aboard in an unaccompanied suitcase. By November 1991, prosecutors charged 2 Libyan intelligence officers, Abdelbasset al-Megrahi, a Libyan Arab Airlines security officer, Lamin Khalifa Fima, station manager for Libyan Arab Airlines in Malta. This indictment directly implicated the Libyan state in the worst terrorist attack in British history. On 19th of September 1989, UTA Flight 772, a French DC-10 travelling from Brazzaville to Paris via N'Djamena, exploded over the Tenere Desert in Niger. All 170 passengers and crew were killed. Investigators traced the bomb to Libyan agents, including Abdullah Senussi, Gaddafi's brother-in-law and head of the military intelligence. In 1999, a French court in absentia convicted 6 Libyans, including Senussi, for their role in the attack. The tragedy cemented France's hostility towards Gaddafi's regime. Gaddafi also escalated his war on Libyan dissidents overseas. According to Amnesty International and US intelligence reports, Libyan hit squads assassinated dozens of exiles in Britain, Italy, West Germany, and the US during the late 1980s. A chilling order circulated in Tripoli state media. The traitors shall be liquidated wherever they are. This campaign horrified Western governments and reinforced Libya's pariah image. By the early 90s, Gaddafi faced tightening sanctions, arms embargoes, and financial restrictions. Oil revenues, Libya's economic lifeline, began to shrink. In response, he shifted strategy, championing Pan-African unity. In speeches, he proclaimed, "The future belongs to Africa. The Arabs have betrayed us, but Africa is our salvation." He funded African National Congress in South Africa, Charles Taylor's forces in Liberia, and other liberation movements, making Libya a hub for insurgent groups across the continent. When Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait in August 1990, Gaddafi condemned both Iraq and the Western coalition. He called the crisis a war among Arabs provoked by imperialism. While most Arab states joined or supported the US-led coalition, Libya stood apart, denouncing both sides. Gaddafi's isolation within the Arab League deepened. By November 1991, the official indictments of Megrahi and FEMA for the Lockerbie bombing marked a decisive break. For the first time, Western prosecutors formally accused a sovereign state of orchestrating mass civilian murder. The US Security Council began preparing sanctions, and even former allies distanced themselves from Tripoli. By the end of 1991, Muammar Gaddafi's image as a revolutionary liberator had been replaced by that of an international outlaw. Libya stood condemned as a state sponsor of terrorism, its leader vilified as the mad dog of the Middle East. From the humiliating defeat in Chad to the horror of Lockerbie and UTA Flight 772, these years sealed Libya's status as a rogue state. Gaddafi, once the darling of Pan-Arabism, was now an isolated pariah, facing global condemnation and looming UN sanctions. The next chapter would test whether he could cling to power as Libya became cut off from the world. Thank you for watching.
The nation's grief. Prince Andrew joined the search teams inspecting the sites of the disaster and afterwards spoke of his concern.
Very difficult to have any message for the people of Lockerbie, apart from my sincere condolences for what has happened. I suppose that statistically, something like this has got to happen at some stage on a town. It is most sad and unfortunate that it's had to happen to Lockerbie.